Hey, what's going on today? Guys, that's what I always say. I'm always like, hey, what's going on today, guys? What's going on today, guys? I'm not saying that's like my catchphrase or some shit, but that's what I say all the time. So, oops, old Doodles is trying to contact me. I want to squeeze in a video real quick just because, well, I like doing these videos. It gives me the opportunity to collect my thoughts and share whatever's on my mind for those who ever give a shit, if that's anybody. But I've got some news right here. So, and what? So I'm going to be talking a little bit about personal finance or whatever because it's going to be involved in the business, right? So I mentioned this before. Damn, why is it so fucking dark in this car? It looks like the exposure in this video is like shit. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to close my window and suffer for you guys so I don't have to sweat I'll be sweating profusely here in a minute. But it's making too much noise. As I mentioned before in other videos, I've been trying to consolidate my bills and other stuff so I can get my finances in order so I can do the most responsible things I can to grow my business the fastest. So this involves some of the obvious things like cutting out all the extra crap, like, we're not going out to eat, we're not doing all these other extra luxury things and stuff. We're essentially using our money for food, gas, and bills. The end. We are establishing a budget for what things that need to be saved. We're going to slowly try to use the Dave Ramsey suggestion from his book, the Total Money Makeover, to snowball our bills and make it so we pay off the smallest one, then the next smallest one, the next one, until we get to everything except for mortgage. And we're in the step right now of saving a little bit of an emergency fund. Well, I've been going haywire trying to figure out every single thing that I can do for saving all the money I can because, it's very easy. I did a lot of frivolous spending before. It's just like, oh, fuck it. I'll pay an extra $6 or an extra $5 right here. It doesn't really matter much. But honestly, when you look at it every single month, it adds up very quickly. And don't be fucking stupid. That's the bottom line. So one of the bills, like an example of a very small cost, well, I have mentioned PCS and so does my wife, and our phone bills combined were $50. Well, mine was actually $57 because I had a service on there. I didn't even notice because I wasn't paying attention. So when we did find that out, I got rid of the extra $7 of cost I wasn't using, and then we merged our lines, or we're getting our lines merged, which is going to save us an additional $20. Okay, so that's $27 per month now that we don't have to be responsible for that we would have had to pay every month, right? You get what I'm saying? Now, for auto insurance, this is really exciting. This isn't going to apply to everybody, but for those who it does, you really want to go ahead and talk to your auto insurance and talk to the company you work for. See, we have relatively good insurance from our company, and one of the things that they don't mention in any of their orations, where they got the guy coming out talking about this, that, and the other, is the fact that you can save money from your auto insurance. They talk about all the medical benefits, and they talk about all the other things they could help you with when it comes to like prescription drugs and things like that, and their life insurance and what happens in case there's an accident and all these other services. But what they fail to talk about is the auto insurance feature, which is the most exciting one. So here's the breakdown. I've got a 2008 Dodge Charger, and my wife has a 2017, I believe. No, I don't remember her year, but it's a Jeep Wrangler, right? I figured hers would be more expensive and stuff, but honestly, we pay roughly the same amount for our cars. We have a total financial obligation of, I think it totaled out to $2,663 or something like that. I just got off the phone with them. I haven't had a chance to write it down. But just by making the phone call to telling them, because I heard about this discount when I was talking to an agent before, and I thought I got taken care of, but I didn't. But what you do is you say, hey, first you find out, I guess, but if not, you could just, You can just call up your auto insurance and they'll take you through the process and you'll find out one way or another, which I guess could save you some time. But here's the thing, your insurance may be acting as a primary auto insurance with 0 exemptions, meaning that if you are paying an auto insurance, which will happen because obviously you need that, then you can get a huge discount. For my case, it was $500 and some dollars. So I pay on a monthly basis. Shame on me, because there's rule number 2. If you have enough money saved, you should pay ahead of time for either the year or 6 months, depending on how you do it. So in my situation, and this is exactly what I plan on doing for next year, or at the turn of the year, because that's when my insurance will end, I'm going to pay it all in full, because then you get another discount. It's super, super valuable to have some of the money and you just pay the stuff up front, because you end up saving yourself oodles of money down the road. But you gotta really know about like cutting these little corners and stuff, and these little things you wouldn't think about, because when you're stuck in the middle class, and I say stuck in the middle class because you get into this mindset where you don't really think with your head on straight. When you're poor, you've got your other concerns where maybe you make too thrifty of decisions and you make poor decisions when it comes to your health, and your mentality might be a little bit down, so you do stupid things like pay for lottery tickets, and you gamble and you play the lottery and all these things, instruments that are against you, they're for the house. I just want to throw out there, it's just like, you want to gamble for a good time? Good, but get your shit together first. Make sure you get your bills in order, you don't have any debt before you decide, hey, I'm just going to throw my money away, because that's how you have to treat it. Gambling is throwing your money away. Sometimes somebody will pick it up and feel bad for you and give you a couple extra dollars, but not all the time. Matter of fact, hardly ever. So fucking don't gamble. This is logical, practical stuff. I mean, don't fucking drink, don't fucking smoke cigarettes. There's a whole bunch of shit I could say. It's just like, you have it in your noggin, you probably know not to do. But seriously, there's a very specific reason why I don't do any of that shit. And finances for this would be one of them. But the middle class, what are their problems? The fact that they're not so bad, so they can pay an extra $1 here. They're fucking all go out to eat and buy the expensive steak and do all this other dumb shit. And by the end of the day, you practically have the bank account that looks like a poor person, but you got a house, and you got a car, and you got a car payment and about $200,000 of debt. You know what I'm saying, though. Sorry, I got a little sassy right there. But you get what I'm saying. You need to cut corners at the ability you can. It's just like, where are you buying your food from? Do you really need that fucking... I remember one of my friends before us is like, I never get the off-brand food. Well, why the fuck not? I mean, half the time, literally the difference between the quality... the difference between the food in an off-brand box versus the official brand is literally the box. Like, there are situations, especially, this goes with pharmaceuticals too. You've got 2 different drugs, not that I have names for you because I don't use drugs at all, ever. That's a whole different story. But the packaging is literally the only thing different. If you look at the dosage and you look at the ingredients and you figure it out, there is no difference between these drugs. They're absolutely, incontrovertibly the same. But you pay more for the label. That's, we've been tricked into believing that there's more value for that, and we absolutely fall victim to that. That's just human nature, So we're spending a lot of money on unnecessary bullshit. So when you go to the store, don't buy special clothes. I used to be a jackass and stuff, where I used to go to the most expensive stores and get the most expensive clothes, and it's just like some image you gotta uphold, right? But no, that's a bunch of baloney. You don't need to uphold shit. You need to be able to prove that you're worth something by how you're living your life and the things that matter and what you're able to actually use without being in debt. Nobody's impressed with a man who has a fancy house and enough credit card debt and fucking mortgage debt to fucking drown a person. That's not impressive. You know what's impressive? Having your house paid off. You know what's impressive? Having a car that's completely paid off. because these are the things that people envy. They don't want financial responsibility. They don't want to have to deal with paying for things on a regular basis. That's one of the most depressing things in the whole world. You know, you can increase your income, you can reduce your spending habits, but when you got these perpetual bills that don't go away ever, they kill you. They slowly eat you alive. So that's why you have to not take on that extra risk. But for that example, for that trick, do that with your, it's a phone call away. And these are the kind of shit I wouldn't do either. You got to ask questions. You got to investigate. Okay, this is how much I'm making on my job. Then look through the money and say, like, hey, does this make sense? Or just, people make mistakes. They don't add that shit together right sometimes. And then from there, you have to say, okay, well, I've got X amount of dollars, and now these are the things that I'm buying. Well, why are you buying the things that you're buying? And are they at a cost that makes sense for what they are? By figuring it out one time, you're able to completely change your habits, shift them in a way where you're going to be able to be debt-free, so you can start investing that money in a whole bunch of shit that you don't need, but you're able to do it without any debt. That's the whole point. So I was really excited about getting that down today. This was more of a rant, but so you gotta get a little bit amped up sometimes. This is exciting shit. So I will see you guys tomorrow. And in terms of like the website and stuff, I made a little bit. I'm making a promotional video for my book, and I'm making content right now for that video. Like, I'm trying to figure out the language I'm going to use, but I'll get more on that later. So hey, take care.